Hi, this is Lady Lex UK and this is a Dreams tutorial. I've recently made a collection of game intro examples. I will put a link in the description below so that you can check that out. These game intro examples are based on the imp quests, but you can use these not just for imp quests, you can put your own designs in here. The idea was to show you the different ways in which you can interact with the start screen and just adds a little extra professionalism before you go straight into your game. I've also added a couple of menu options that I made, and there is tutorials for that within my tutorial playlist for cursor menu and a rotating menu, but I'm not going to go through those. I'm going to go through these very simple game intro examples. So let's start off with the first one. This is Dream Reverse Dash intro, and it looks like this. And if you hover over the play button with your imp, a little cross comes out, and if you press the cross, a doorway activates. That's what it does. Now the way you use all of these is the same way. So if I put in Dream here, here's my Dream Reverse Dash Dream. What you do is you put your Dream Reverse Dash scene in like this, you wire it up, so that is the first thing that gets played, and then you wire the doorway to the entry of your first scene, your first level of your game. That's it, that's as simple as that, and that's how it works in the Dreamverse when you make a dream and you wire it up. Don't forget, you have to make them as scenes. Elements cannot be put into dreams. And that's how you wire up a game so that it has a starter menu, and then there's your level. If you've got more levels on your first page, then obviously you'll have more doorways, and you would wire these up accordingly. Right. So let's have a look and see how this is made. So the basics of this is you have a camera pointing at your logo. I've used a lot of text gadgets in order to make my logo. There is a sculpt here. This Dream Reverse bit is a sculpt that's made using the circle sphere tool, and all I did was so smear shape, and used a circle tool, make it nice and small, and then like that. That's the sort of thing you want to do. You want to do it slowly, otherwise you get dotted lines, but there you go. So you can do your own designs, and like I say, I've used a combination of sculpts and text to make mine. Right, so let's view everything. So I'm going to view X-ray so you can see all the bits and pieces, all the gadgets, and I've got a microchip with the active parts in, and I've got a few loose gadgets here, which I could have put in my microchip, but this is all part of the logo. So I've got a text gadget here for dash, and a text gadget for your name, and there is a hidden object in here. There is a block. This is going to act as our hover area. So I've just put a block in, and we're going to make that invisible. But first of all, I'm going to make a new one over here. So I'm just going to take a text gadget, and I'm going to call, this is going to be my logo. Make it red. I'll use a nice big bold font. I don't want the text box. I don't want the Don't want any of that. And now I've got my logo, and then I'm going to put it in the scene. So there we go. That's now in the scene. New game. And I'm going to go into sculpt mode. And I'm going to just sculpt me. That's bad. Imagine it's a snake game of some sort. I'm going to put that in the world and try and get that roughly in the same place. I'm just going to add a little bit of glow to that. There we go. There's my logo. It's not a very good one, but anyway, it's done. So I've got my logo in. Then I'm going to put in my camera. Whoops, wrong one. That one. And you go L1 and X, and then you line up where the logo is going to be on the screen, how close it's going to be. You may need to fiddle about with it until you get it exactly where you want it, like so. Then we're going to make a box. So, whoops. Make sure this is a new sculpture and not connected to anything you've already done. I'm going to put that there. And let's just check that with the camera. Okay, so we need to get that in the right position. There we go. So we've now got a box and our logo. And I now need another text gadget. I'm going to use play. I'm going to fiddle about with the box a bit. There we go. That's quite nice. I'll make it yellow like that. Okay, I'm going to make that in scene. And you can actually snap that to your box and then move it. At least it's, you know where it is, and we'll put it in front of there like that. Okay, that's our play button. Now this box needs to be grabbable, so we can change it to grabbable. And I'm going to add a grab sensor. So I'm going to L1 and stamp that on there. We're going to use the hovered. I'm going to put in a microchip now. So when you hover, I want this text gadget to do something different. So I'm going to put in a keyframe, and I'll pull that up. I'm going to change the color of the text box. So I'm going to make the text box red, like that. And I'm going to wire hovered to my text box. So let's have a look and see what happens. So at the moment we've got this camera and this microchip and all of this working, and not our new one. So I'm going to turn this off. If I delete that camera, that should. There we go. There's our new one. So you can see when I hover over the box, that play button lights up. So we want that box to be a bit smaller. So I'm just going to use the stretch tool and just make the box a bit smaller so it covers the play button. There we go. and we want a text box to pop up to tell you that you need to press the cross button. So we'll just put in another gadget. There's a text display gadget, and I'm going to put in X. I've discovered you can put the word cross in or you can put X in, and they both work. Black on black is a bit awkward, so I'm going to make it yellow to match the play button. And we're going to put that in the world. There it is. Whoops. And I'll put that underneath the play button. Okay, yep, that's a good position. And we want that to appear when you hover. So wire that to the power. So now, there we go. And that's how it works. As simple as that. Da, da, da. Right. So now we need an AND gate. So we say once it's been hovered over, and then we're going to put in a controller sensor, and we don't need those wires, so you can delete those, and we'll make it remote controllable, and we'll wire the cross button into our AND gate. So now you've got to be hovered and pressing the cross button, and then that will activate our doorway, like so. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So now we've got a hover button with a call to action. I mean, I've got a cross here, but I mean, you could put text in or whatever you want to happen. Now, over here, you can see we've got a Sun and Sky gadget. I can put the Sun and Sky gadget in here, and you can change the colour of the background. At the moment, I've got a black sky, so we can change that. Let's make it blue. And the way to get a full solid colour is 200% sky intensity, horizon definition, and flex shade randomness at 0, and move the fog as far away as you can, and that creates a nice single colour. Or of course you could put a whole design in the back here, a whole scene, whatever you need to do. But there we go, that's how you do a very simple intro. Next we have the ancient temple intro. This is what it looks like. So I've got a little setup here. Instructions: R2 on fire pit to play. So I can press R2 on there, it will change the colour of the flame, and then after a while it goes wibbly wobbly and goes into your game. Or I can hold the fire pit and it will keep changing colour on the flames, and it will still go in. So both ways it's going to go into your game. So you can hold it or just press it the once, it doesn't matter. So I lucked out when I made this, because this particular prop here, built by Media Molecule, has some logic already in it. So all the flames and everything works here. That is what I've used as a base for activating my game. So here's the text displayer. This says R2 on fire pit to play, and I put that at the bottom there. It's got a detect grab. This is part of the code. So let me just put in a put the torch in. There we go, stone torch. Here is a stone torch. And at the base is the torch logic. Here you can see the original code. So you can see that I've added a few little bits and pieces. There we go. So I removed the flame damage because we don't need that. So that went. And everything else, the flame animation, everything else is still there. So as you can see, we've got a detect grab on here. So I've used that and put in a counter. So this is so you can activate it with a single R2 press as well as a long press. So all of this will activate with a long press, while this counter means it's going to work when you just press it the once. So what I've got is I've got a counter. This is a 1-0 counter, and this acts as a switch. So when you grab it, it goes into there, and then the first thing it does is enlarge the flames. That's already in there, so it's enlarging the flames. And then it sets off this timer. This timer is 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, I use the timer finish signal. Now be careful, don't use the pulse. Use the signal. That can be found in here, down there, like that. And that wires to our doorway. So after 3 seconds of pressing the button, and it doesn't matter if you hold it down or just press it the once, it's going to activate our doorway. Everything else is part of the logic of our fire pit, and it's got some code in there that changes the color of it and all sorts of things. So you don't need to fiddle about with that, and that will work anyway. So what I wanted to show you is like a grabbable instead of a hover and a controller sensor. We've got grabbable, so that the R2 button, and that's fixed. The R2 button is a fixed grabbable button, so you can't change it to something else. But because we're using grab instead of a controller sensor. But there you go, and that's a simple thing. And the doorway effect, so it goes wibbly wobbly, is this one here. And I've also chosen transition via color of black, so that it blacks out as it wibbles away, and then it will go into your game. Very, very simple. Okay, we'll come out of that one. Next we got the treasure hunt intro. Let's have a check of that. So we've got some text here, so the name of the game, and then your name comes down, so it bounces a little bit, and we've got press any button flashing like so. And it doesn't matter what I press, it will go into your game. Right, so let's have a look and see how that's done. Now, first of all, I've used the actual treasure hunt, remixable treasure hunt game that Media Molecule made. There is a lot of gadgets and things in here, and I had to manipulate quite a lot of it to stop it from showing things that I didn't want it to show. Or I needed to make Connie non-possessable and all sorts of things. So I'll just close this down. This is the microchip you're interested in, the intro. So if you wanted to put it in your own game, all you need to do is select this microchip and press save as new creation, and that will just save that microchip. That's all you need to do. So here we go. Here's our intro. And also we've got a camera. Probably a good idea if you pop that camera actually in the microchip before you save it. And then it's all one thing. Otherwise you're going to put an extra camera in. But I'm going to leave it out for now. Right. Okay. So we've got our timeline here. This is the animation for our text. So we'll open that up. And here are our two text gadgets. You've got game name and your name. So I'm going to start from scratch and create a new one. So I'm going to put in text displayer. Let's move that over this side so we can see it doing its thing. So we'll put new game in there. Right, so I need a keyframe. I'll put it at the beginning of our timeline, and I'm grabbing this with R2 and I'm just going to shrink it down. Right, so let go and then press stop recording. It will sort of disappear. Then I want another keyframe. Grab, try to keep it in the same position, and then I'm going to make it bigger and press record. It's very awkward because you can't necessarily see, but we'll wind it and press play, and there we go. You can see it coming in now. There you go. Now this keyframe size is not big enough for me. I want it bigger, so L1 and square, sorry, L1 and X, and I'm just going to make that bigger. Let go, press record. That's it, that's what I want. And I'm going to keep changes on that so that it stays that large size. So let's press play on this. It gets nice and big and stays there. Okay, so that's how to do that. And for the dropping one, let's put in another text box. Put the word drop in there so we know that's the dropping one. Put that over here. Again, we're going to need a keyframe, and we'll stick that up there. Then we'll put in another keyframe, and we'll put that down there, and then we'll put in another keyframe, and we'll put it there. I think that will create a bounce. So we've got a blend in there, a blend in there, and again that last keyframe, keep changes. Okay, there it goes, down it goes. There we go. So that's it. That's how you move your text around using these keyframes. That looks really cool, and you can animate it to go across the screen, up and down. You can get it wiggling. You can do all sorts of things with the timeline and your text can just move it around. Or you could do it a very simple way. Here's our text gadget up here. You can use an action recorder. Like that. Let's just remove all of that, and we can put our action recorder in there instead. Make sure it's playing only once, and keep changes are on. There you go. So you can animate it using the action recorder as well. It's up to you which way you do it, and as you can see, it is a little bit blurry when you use the action recorder, depending on how fast you move it. It's a lot smoother if you actually animate it frame by frame, but it's entirely up to you and how you want to animate your text. Right, I've also got a signal generator here on our text displayer for press button. All this is doing is it's got a a sweep of 0.3 seconds. It's got a range of 1 and 0. It pauses for 0.7, and so it flashes on and off. As it hits the 1, it turns it on, and it hits the 0, it turns it off. There we go. And you can change the speed of that, obviously, by changing the pause, by changing the sweep, and you have a flashing bit of text. So this is wired from the signal into the power of your text gadget, and that's it. That's all that does that. Now the gadget for any button, you can make it yourself. This is what it looks like, but I have made a gadget that you can just plonk in there, so I'll put that link in the description as well for the any button press. You just need to search for any button press, there's mine. Somebody else did one but then said I can't fix the broken wires, so I'm just going to leave that. Here's mine. Any button press chip. Click on that and there it is. You just put it in, and all you do is wire your output to whatever you want it to do when you press any button. That's all you need to do. And in this one I've just wired it to our doorway, and that's it. That's the treasure hunt one. And finally, we've got Welcome Home. And for this one, I've got no imp, and you choose using the left stick up and down, and then X. And we've got 2 doorways this time, a play and an exit. So I've just put the little set down there to make our screen. I've got text displayers for Welcome Home and the instruction at the imp quest level, and play and exit. So what I've got here is a controller sensor. This is remote controlled, so like so, and I've got the left stick going into a splitter. Now the splitter doesn't actually do what we need it to do, which is very sad. It's supposed to split out the left and right and the up and down from each other, but it doesn't. And if you just use the Y up and down, it would work, but it would also work if you went left and right. So this splitter doesn't work. This doesn't work. It's supposed to work and it doesn't. So you put it through another splitter for positive and negative from that Y. And then you put into calculators to see if it's 0.5 or more. So if you have pushed it more up or more down. And if you push it more up, you need to wire that into the move to previous. And if you push it more down, then you go to move to next output into this selector. And then in the selector, you've got A and B. So I've got a keyframe here, and that changes the color of our play button to white. And we've got an AND gate and a doorway. So the AND gate is, we've seen this before, if you press the cross button and you're in A, so wire A cross button and that A into the AND gate, and then the out to the doorway. And then B is the same, but this time it's the exit that's white, and we've got an AND gate. So if we're in B and we press the X button, then that doorway is activated. And you can do that for multiple ones going all the way down, and it will loop around. So if we do this and we push the left button up and down, And that you can see it's going from A to B, and you could have C, D, E, F, G, all the way down. So you have multiple options in here, and you just do exactly the same. So you have a keyframe that changes the color of the text, an AND gate to determine whether you are in B or C or D or E, and you press the X button, and then a doorway, and that's it. It's as simple as that. The difficult bit is this, because splitting up that left stick local so that it only works for up and down, you have to do all this rigmarole. To make it easy for yourself, you could use the D-pad. So instead of using the left stick, you could have used the D-pad, which are there. So up would go to previous, and down would go to next. You don't need any splitters or anything, it's just a D-pad. So it's the same, exactly the same thing. All of this is exactly the same, it's just what buttons that you're using to activate the selector. And in order to get rid of your imp, so you can't see the imp at all, you go put global settings gadget down and unclick this. See, what you would normally get is this. And you see a lot of games where you've got an imp here, but you actually want them to activate a menu. This is not what you want. So you unclick the imp, and now you've got no imp. It's a really good idea if you never want the imp to be seen, to use that global gadget with the imp turned off. It's great for all sorts of things. Right, so that's it. Those are the 4 intro examples of the different ways that you could manipulate and get into your game. I hope they were useful, and you might want to manipulate these, play about with these. They're all totally remixable. See how they work, see how you can adapt them and change them and make them your own, and use them for your own start menus. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in your dreams.